I picked a completely random week, apparently the first week of February 2026, on the bar replay, and I didn't look at it. And we're gonna see how well I can try to just like understand the price action. So this week we have some news. We have 10 a.m. Monday, 10 a.m. Wednesday, 10 a.m. Thursday, and 10 a.m. Friday. But we don't have NFP or CPI or FOMC, which are like the biggest ones. We just have sort of just like general stuff. Okay, so let's start. It's Monday, or well, the market hasn't even opened yet. Hold on, let me just delete all of my other drawings. Okay. So first of all, Friday was an inside day, so that's good to note. And we can take a look at the hourly. Friday was an inside day. Obviously, there's going to be a range, closed at near the middle, and it looks like shit, right? So like there's not much edge here, right? Currently middle of the range, yeah. Okay, so obviously the market hasn't opened yet, so we're gonna just step forward for a while. Market opens lower. This is obviously still just overnight. This is Sunday in New York. I think this is kind of interesting. I think that, given how strong this was, you definitely could start to look to long it. Since you are around the range low, you have a very strong demand zone here. Prices moves away aggressively. Prices accepted in the middle. I think that you could potentially look to trade it. Now it's been so long that I'm probably not interested in trading it anymore, especially when we turn around right before it's, yeah, okay. We can let that be. We do come down, we don't quite hit this zone, we hit that one, that's fine. And yeah, it's the way it's coming down like this, making lower high, lower high, lower high into your level. That's no good. Okay, but it's still overnight trading, market hasn't opened. It's kind of illiquid, kind of choppy. Things are going lower, lower, lower. No setup, no setup. Of course, you could be trying to short this here, but I mean, nobody's trading this time of the day. Okay, so we're going way lower in our market, overnight trading, extended market hours, whatever you call it. We do have a range here now, and I actually think that this is like a reasonable long. I don't think that this is unreasonable. We missed it by one tick, but I think that, like, here's your range. If you want to go target the midpoint, longing here, 17 tick stop, 40 tick TP. I think that makes sense. It's a decent range. But, overnight trading is it's a little bit goofy. And yeah, we just deviate the low, which is fine. This is starting to look a little bit cleaner. This is starting to look so clean to the point where it's like I actually think that you probably could go ahead and long here, and then TP perhaps at these highs here. I think that that's not too bad. So let's see what happens. We do get tagged in, but we get stopped out. Okay. Still bearish. Everything is still going lower. Yeah. I think you can obviously see like lower high, lower high, lower high, but I think it's not horrible. That's honestly such a clean reclaim that I kind of... How do we enter on a market? How do we enter a market? Hold on. Oh wait, you need to have... I never have this enabled normally, but there we go, I think. So we would buy at market, and then we would have a stop chase. How do you do this in a not stupid way? Well, I guess you just buy market and then we can, yeah. Then we can pull this lower, pull this higher. And now we can see what happens. Pretty deep pullback. Could have gotten a better entry. And we do hit TP, so that's clean. I also think you probably could have relonged here with a stop here, but yeah, okay. So we do get back into the range. This is just overnight trading, but you know. Okay, now we're in the middle of the range again. Not really interested in trading in the middle of the range. That's kind of a shit place to be honest with you. Okay, range high. That's a good place to be again, but you know, when we're making lower highs or higher lows this consistently, yeah, you probably don't want to fade that. This is really clean. Maybe you could even look to, nah, you wouldn't look to like get long in the middle of the range, but yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna try to like chase a breakout here. I don't think that that's the correct move. I think that we just need to sort of see the market play out. Okay, we do go higher. We do hit previous day's low. I think it's good to maybe zoom out at this point and be like, okay, we took out last week's low already. I mean, if we want to look on the weekly, is that? Wait, what? Okay, I'm not sure about that. I hope I didn't just like get some information that I shouldn't have. We're gonna ignore that, and we're gonna keep just focusing on the scalps. Okay, so market's grinding higher into previous day's low. Are we kind of establishing a little range here? Yes, we are. You could perhaps you could look to long here. I don't think that would be bad, but you know, I didn't, so it's fine. We do kind of have a bit of a range here, no? I wonder about this as a setup. Low to high, target there. Perhaps you could also do there. I don't think this is so bad, you know. I think that we could probably try. Okay, we go higher, then we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna short either because look at the lower highs, very, very clean. And I'm not gonna long either because I don't really feel like it was that good of a pullback. Okay, we just go higher, higher, higher. It's still pre-market, so you know, it's not really real in that sense. I wonder about this. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see. Okay, there isn't really that much good resistance. We have this swing high here, which we can target. You see how it came lower, it took out the stops and it retested, or it like broke higher. I think that if we go ahead and long here, with a stop here, we can long it here even, that's fine. Target here, I think that this is starting to be somewhat reasonable. Why does it look so bad? Whatever. Okay, this is starting to be somewhat okay. But we don't get a pullback, it just goes. That's okay. Yeah, I don't really think that there was much else. Yeah, it's fine. Sometimes you don't get on the trade, that's totally okay. And we do hit that level, I assume. We actually don't. We actually, wait, hold on. Yeah, no, we miss it by one tick. I was wondering if there was some funny business going on again with the thing. Okay, pulls back. We kind of have a range forming here. This is kind of clean. I kind of wonder if we long, based on the volume profile, you know, if we long there, and then we go, okay, low, high, midpoint, stops. And missed by 1 tick. That's a classic. Yeah, well, it is what it is. What can you do? Now we're just in the middle of the range again. 830 hits. Still in the middle of the range. Okay. So just an update on the hourly. We took out that high. Well, technically not yet, but we will probably. Okay, we're making some higher lows. That's pretty clean, but we're really back in the middle of the range, you know? Like it's not that good. Here we kind of deviate this high here. We can see if we draw it out, we can see what happens. Could be potentially interesting. I don't really feel this is a kind of a hard one, because on one hand I feel like this could be decent, but on the other hand I feel like this is just kind of stupid. No, I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let it be. It doesn't feel clean enough to me. Oh, yep. Good thing I let it be. Now we're getting back, and now this is actually feeling pretty reasonable. I'm gonna go ahead and short it here. And 18 tick stop loss. I think we can target this swing high. I think that's okay. I know that this is kind of a demand zone here, but you know, if it's ranging it, I don't think it's so bad. And that's me being taken out at 9:30. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I completely missed that. I completely forgot that. Yeah, okay. Well, that's yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a rule where I don't trade like the first couple moves near the open, and I forgot that the open was coming. Well, that's embarrassing. Okay. Well, I take the stop out. Mistakes happen. So anyways, we open. Aggressive move higher. Kind of an aggressive move lower. How many ticks is this? Yeah, 9 handles. Okay. Price starts grinding higher. Could potentially, you know, look to long a breakout or something, but I don't really do that yet. I'm not really good enough yet to do that. This is not a good enough breakdown for me to short either. This has now taken out all of the overnight trading. So one thing which I'm also supposed to do, but which I forgot to do again, is I'm supposed to label the overnight high and low, of course. So we did take out the overnight high. We'll see now what the market does. We could very easily just go to previous day's high. That's another thing which you could have considered, is like we had an inside bar. I just thought we went so far below it, but when we have an inside bar and we get back into the range, we close below, close back inside. You know, you could definitely potentially look to be longing with the intention of taking out the high. Although that is kind of very aggressive, but yeah. Okay, we take out the high. Very aggressive move higher in the start of the day. Wouldn't really be longing here because it's gone up so much and we're above the high of previous day. But don't really want to short either because, you know, look at this. Okay, that is actually kind of clean, but there just really isn't much. How much space is there until this level? There is some space. I kind of feel like we might be punting if we don't do this. Nah, nah, I don't like it. Why don't I like it? I actually don't know why I don't like it. I think I should take it. Let's see. I guess I should have listened to myself. That's a decent pullback though. This is kind of like the earlier time. Like down here, where I got in too early and then it looked good. Kind of the same thing here. Like this looks good. This one I like. Just going for the gap fill basically. Question is, do we move the stop? Not yet. No, we do definitely move the stop to here. And we get taken off. Okay, good. So again, like I just got in too early. I really think I just got in too early. Because this was clean. This felt really good. You could have also longed the retest here, of course. Okay, so now it's 12. I'm guessing, like my assumption is that after such an aggressive morning, we're probably gonna go sideways. Also running into this hourly resistance. Let's review the hourly again here. So yeah, we ran into resistance. There really isn't there really isn't much else in front of us, but we did run into resistance. We do have some lows here. We have this gap here on the hourly, which we might trade into. Obviously, this is not yet a short, but it could potentially look to short maybe later. Okay, we have this really tight range. Not gonna trade that. Go higher, go lower, go higher. Okay, we start coming back into the range. This is not really a break of structure, you know, like if you have these lows and price comes lower and immediately goes higher, that's not really a break of structure. That's kind of more like, that's almost like you want to be longing that. But with that said, I don't really want to be longing given that we're into like strong resistance to it, because look at the move that it generated. So I'm just gonna sit it out. We can see what happens. Back in the range. Seems like longs might have gone and paid after all. No? Didn't make a new high. Because I mean, if you're longing here, the assumption is that it's a trend continuation, and you're basically gonna be targeting like this, you know. And I just don't feel confident in that because we are in such strong resistance. I kind of almost am starting to feel like this might be a good short, because if you look on the hourly, you know, we had an inside bar actually. We actually did. That's an inside bar right there. And so maybe towards the end of the day now, we might get a decent move. The question is, where do you enter? I don't feel too confident. I kind of wonder honestly, like should we be slamming short here? I feel like honestly we probably should. I think that it might be a mistake not to do it. Let's see. Okay. And Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, well, that's good. It did work, but Jesus. Fuck me. Okay. And after this aggressive of a move, I'm expecting just chop. Like I don't trade after this aggressive of a move. This is like what? This is 2 minutes and 70 ticks. Like I just wait. I just sit out after this. And now it's too late in the day anyway. I'm not gonna trade this. As far as after hours trading goes, I think it really just depends on the price action. Like sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. These trades that I took, these were like 1 a.m. New York time. This is like even before the London Open, but there was still like good price action, so yeah. Okay, we can get rid of the overnight high and low. And now on Tuesday, we're not gonna repeat. We're not gonna repeat this mistake of being on a position right before the Open. That is embarrassing and sad. Okay. So anyways, let's just keep going. We still have some Monday to go. Crazy illiquid after hours action. No interest here. Could be potentially kind of cool to trade, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe one micro lot, you know, that type of thing. We range here. You know I like ranges, but I don't like trading this time. See, this is kind of clean. This is kind of clean, you know? It's not so bad. Like look at this range. You deviate the low, you draw the range, TP there. Entry, well, that's the thing. This kind of sucks for entries, but you know, eh, it's honestly not so bad. Honestly, I think that it might be plus EV. Let's take it. Let's take it. There was a guy that once told me that you should just trade a lot. Like if you want to get good at trading, you just trade a lot. So let's see. Let's trade a lot. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Okay. Middle of the range, no interest, and you know, also based on the time of day, no interest really. We can just let this run. We can let it run, let it run. Okay, now it's 1 a.m. We kind of hit range high and come lower like this. We can see, does price get accepted lower? Not really. It is a V reversal. I don't wanna short into that. Fuck that shit. Okay, we go higher. If you look on the hourly, you know, lower high, lower or higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Kind of don't want to short that. Don't really want to long either, but I mean, if you get like a really clean long setup, it might honestly be worth it. But let's see what 2 a.m. brings. Let's see what London people, oi bruv. Let's see what they do. This is I'm kind of wondering. Like, look at this. Look at this PA. Look at the deviation of the lows. I'm kind of wondering. Can we do this? Well, you know, the guy said trade a lot, so fuck it. I'm just gonna long there because 9 ticks is like nothing. 14. I'm not even gonna go for the 14. I'm actually gonna go for. I'm actually gonna go for the swing. This is like relatively low win rate, but I think that it's probably still plus EV because look how clean the higher lows are. The target is nearby. We ran some lows right at the London time. Unfortunately. Oh shit, I was probably gonna pull the order to be honest, but okay, I didn't. That's fair. That's fair. I didn't pull the order, so we just have to see what happens. Okay, okay. That's incredibly lucky because like if I was sitting here looking at the computer, I probably would have pulled the order, to be honest. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe that's a learning experience. And okay, so I'm gonna move the stop for sure to this swing low. But it's still a valid entry, like you could still like get long there. Oh wait, no, I need to confirm that I moved the stop. And you get stopped out. Okay, so that's kind of one of the bad things about trading in after hours or in extended hours is like I think it was very likely to hit this, but it just didn't, and that's okay. It was still a decent entry, it seems, but it just didn't hit my TP. Okay, let's just zoom out. Let's look at the range. What is the range? Range is basically this, and we're basically breaking lower from it, so we can just fast forward a little bit. And yeah, I'm not sure if I would have taken this. I mean, this is part of the problem with replay trading. Is like you click too much, and then it's like you obviously could have won this, right? You definitely could have. But I just didn't get the entry, and so you know it is what it is. But the idea is, of course, that you know you have your range, which is vaguely this, and you deviate the low, you get back into the range, retest, and then go to the middle. Would have been very clean, very clean, of course. Uh, the stops are so tight as well because the ranges are so tight. But yeah, that would have been nice. But hey, sometimes you miss things. That's okay. yeah, so it does kind of feel like we're breaking lower here, right? You see how lower prices are being accepted and higher prices are being rejected. Kind of feels like we're breaking lower. Um, with that said, we don't really want to short until we see a clean setup, and so we kind of have to roll with the punches. I wonder if you could have, like, you almost could have, honestly. See, it runs the stops, goes back higher, or well, run the stop. Come on, but you know, it pokes above and closes back below. You almost could. I haven't really been taking these trades, but I've been sort of theorizing about starting to take trades like this more and more, where you just kind of see like, fuck it, it's just gonna go, like just enter at market, bro, like it's going, and then you could target. This is a very obvious swing low to target. Obviously, this one on the hourly, and if you look on the hourly as well. I'm spending so much time talking about pre-market trading, but I think it's interesting. You have this small candle, right? And then the big engulfing lower. This one opens, trades up into this resistance, and then goes lower. So on the hourly, it looks pretty bearish. It's kind of the same thing here. I'm not in this trade because I didn't take it, but let's see. Okay, I think. Hold on, what's the risk reward here? I think I'm gonna take this just because it's kind of the same setup and I just want to see what happens. Obviously the entry isn't great, but that would have been a better entry. And we're out. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fine. These things happen. These things happen, these things happen. At least when you're trading in overnight with you trade with tight stops, so you just don't lose that much if you have the same contract size. Right now, not really that interesting. Like, I don't really want to long here, I don't really want to short either. Let's just see what happens. And do we take out the low? We do, yeah. Yeah, kind of unfortunate that it had this pullback here, but that's just life. You could definitely argue that because it wasn't so strong, you shouldn't be taking these mini pullbacks and you should wait for a real pullback and then enter short like here. That's definitely fair, but that's okay. Nobody's perfect. So anyways, we deviate the low, and again, like, I'm always asking myself the question, what is the range? I think it's fair to say that this is the range here, right? And so I think that we probably could be looking to long like here as well, and just try to go towards the midpoint of the range. Try to target like here. I think that's pretty reasonable. Wait, no, here. Honestly, maybe nah. Okay, that's not looking too great. Now it's looking fine again. Technically, I wouldn't have been stopped out yet. I would move my stop to here. It just doesn't feel good. It's very, very volatile. Maybe I shouldn't be trading after hours, or maybe I should. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's very, I am noticing this in myself that I'm very reactive, right? I'm very, very reactive because I think my ego is on the line. Yeah, okay, it worked. Nice. Yeah, range trade worked. I think the reason why I'm so reactive, like, this isn't even real money, but it's like my ego is on the line, because I'm filming this video and I feel like an idiot if I lose. And yeah, but I think you just have to step up and take the trade, because like even if you lose, you learn something. Like this entry here, like I don't think it's very good because I think that you probably, given how choppy it is, you probably want a better pullback, right? But like you probably could have entered here and taken the trade because the target was still good, the trend was still good. It just wasn't that good of an entry. And so, yeah, I mean, when you make mistakes, you learn. So don't be afraid to step up. Don't be afraid to step up. Okay, now we're in the middle of the range. I can just look on the hourly. I don't even need the 1 minute. I can just see that we're in the middle of the range, middle of the range. You could argue like, oh, it broke lower. You should retest. You should short for a retest, but nah, 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 nah. Okay, kind of reaching the low again, but there isn't really any clean zone here. Now we have to look daily again. Okay, so obviously Monday, massive range day. We did go above previous day's high. And this is the overnight low, and this is the overnight high. Okay, so let's see. So we have the open soon. Notice how I'm not in a position near the open. Okay, so let's just look before the open. What's the range? Well, pretty much the range is the overnight range, you know. You could argue that this is also a range, but I really think that the range is the overnight range. Okay, so it's the open. Market tries to go higher, obviously, and fails that and pushes lower. Okay. Let's see if the low prices get accepted. No, not really. They also get rejected. And so now we have a range. This is a very obvious range, of course. And I would not trade here. It's going to be very choppy. Okay, swiping the overnight lows. That's an important sign. But the question is there a setup? Is there a setup? Is there a setup? Honestly, you remember what the guy said? Remember what the guy said? The guy said take the trade. 25 tick stop. And I think we can honestly, like given how bullish this has been, I think we can go for the overnight high. I don't think we have to just go for this. Like I think if we take out this, we probably go for the overnight high. And we get fucking just annihilated. Okay. Unlucky. Unlucky. When was this? This was 10 minutes after the open, stopped out 13 minutes after. Well, these things happen. Okay, so we've sort of quote unquote ran the stops and we still go lower. That's definitely a pretty bearish sign, but I don't know if there's necessarily an entry here at this point. Maybe this is a relevant level to mark out as well. And we just go lower, lower, lower into this level, which is also this support resistance. You can see SR, support, support, resistance, resistance, quote unquote fair value gap. And we just go lower. Yeah, no entry there. Don't want a long, don't want a short, just want to wait. Again, if we had traded above here, I would want a long, but just no long. Okay, this is starting to get interesting now. I think we probably could long. Let's see. So from the high to the low. Wide ass range. Take those highs, but we don't go higher. That's a bit unnerving. And we do just get stopped out. Oh my god, I forgot to actually take the trade. Okay, great. Yeah. Well, we have a range here now. Again, I wonder if I'm just getting into these trades too early, because I feel like this is reasonable now. That's the low. That's the high. I think we can target these equal highs here. Or do we actually just go for the... I kind of feel like we can still go for this. I feel like, because it's gone sideways for a while after such an aggro move lower, I feel like the first bounce is probably going to be pretty strong. Nope. Well, this day definitely went a lot worse. We've had like 3 stopouts in a row, so I think probably best not to trade. Or I guess technically only 2, but still. Yeah, it really does just keep going lower. Through the resistance, or through the support, through everything. I kind of wonder at what point do you just like start looking for shorts? Like at what point do you just go like, okay, this is gonna fucking melt, and you just start looking for shorts? Because I feel like there's always like a next support, you know? Like there's also this. It's like, okay, well that's your structure break higher, great. But are we actually gonna get a retest? I mean, I kind of doubt it, but it's worth a shot, right? Here's the question is, where do you TP? I think just TPing at the previous high. Yeah, I think that TP is fine. I think it makes sense. I don't think we want to be too aggressive with the TP. The reason why I went for this entry exactly here is because this is like a breaker, quote unquote, and then this is a breaker. So yeah. Okay. We kind of have a range here, if you haven't noticed. But we do kind of just break out a bit higher. Can we just short here right away and just target a little lower? Hold on, what's the risk reward? Wait, what did I just open? Oh, go away. 26. Yeah, I like it. I think it's fine for a scalp. Nope. I don't like it anymore. Higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. I feel like, yeah. I feel like I'm perhaps not quite, you know, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, and I try to go long it. I mean, it's a little bit questionable. It's a little bit questionable. Oh, it was also like 10 minutes before the close. And now we've closed. So this day was not great. I mean, I got this trade, this was a good amount of ticks. But yeah, definitely worse than one day. Definitely some of these trades here were not the best. This was pretty bad. I mean, this was like, I think this was reasonable. It just didn't hit, but yeah. This was a mistake. This was fine. This I think was honestly a mistake. No, it was probably fine. But this was a mistake. Yeah. This was fine, and this was a mistake. This is just, I don't, come on. Like, it's just a pullback in an uptrend. Like, you should be expecting it to fail. Like, okay. I'm definitely sensing that. I feel like even though this is like not even real money, it's still just like, I don't know. I'm getting kind of tilted. I feel a little bit tilted. Definitely do. Which doesn't bode well for trading with real money, you know. But I think that I also need to like focus more on the fundamentals because I'm forgetting the fundamentals. Like maybe you don't short when the market is consistently making higher lows for the past 100 minutes, right? Like just focus on the fundamentals. Just focus on the structure in price action. Like that's really all that there all that there is. Okay. This is potentially interesting here if you look on the hourly, you know, we had some inside bar action. Let me go ahead and close this, close this, close this, close this. If you look here, 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 these are some inside bars. $18, $33, sell. Nope, get memed on. I mean, again, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. But I think it's fine still. I was thinking whether this is a long, but then I was like, nah, would have worked. Would have worked, would have worked. Again, like, it's just with the trend. Like, you don't need to be particularly smart in this market. You really don't. Again, here, like, you could have just longed the breaker. Target those equal highs. No, this is not clean enough. I wouldn't take this. Okay, we get back inside. Now we kind of have a range here. That's clean. Question is, do we short here? No, it's a V reversal. It's not clean enough. Would not want to be that guy. Possibly you could have longed here. Okay, we go lower. This is overnight trading. Not really interested, except actually now I am interested because look at this. This is pretty clean. Stop there, TP there, right at the midpoint. I hate overnight trading. What is this? Come on. Come on. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Okay, well that's fine. That's life. Kind of on this aggressive move lower. I wonder. Hold on. So the obvious target is this low here. Let's see. Let's try this. With that strong of a deviation of the low, I actually wouldn't want to short this anymore. So that's, yeah. Well, it is what it is. I wonder if I should or shouldn't trade overnight. I feel like I might be kind of, but on occasion there are good setups though. Like we know this, but I feel like I might be kind of like burning myself out. And then when the actual trading hours happen, then it's like, come on. Because I do think it's lower, like it's probably lower probability, lower EV. I definitely think think that we want to be longing here though. Oh no. Like that. And like that. Because this is like range low, deviation, pretty clean, obvious target. But we just hit the target without touching the range low. Very sad indeed. Okay. I think I'm gonna skip overnight trading. I feel like I'm probably just like clicking buttons at this point. Like this is not really conducive to good trading. Some would say. Like look at this. Okay, high or low, higher low, higher low, higher low. In order for it to break structure, we need to get below here. We never got below here. Like why am I shorting? This is kind of the problem I've always had with everything that I do, right? Is that I just like don't really, I just kind of autopilot it, you know? And like if you work a shitty office job, you can autopilot it, but if you're doing this, you can't really autopilot it. Like it doesn't really seem to work. You need to be pretty locked in. Right now I'm pretty locked out, so yeah. Anyways, overnight high, overnight low, market opening soon. That's the open. We already know we don't trade the open, but okay, we have an aggressive move lower. It's still good to watch, you know. Aggressive move lower fails, we have an aggressive move higher. Kind of choppy, 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 choppy. Chop, 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 chop. Not interested in trading this chop, obviously. Still near the open. Chop, chop, chop. Okay, we do push lower. Still, there's no setup here, like this is just choppy as shit. And we trade lower aggressively. Perhaps if we used like the 30-minute, we would see something here. No, 15-minute, sure. But you know, if you look on the daily, it was just a large range day, nothing special. If you look on the hourly, like yeah, we're just trading lower. So we chopped and then we went lower. And then we went higher. I think it's just too fast, like there's no setup here. Now we're just in the middle of the range again. You could argue that we should be trying to target overnight highs, and I would agree, but I just don't think there's a setup. This is actually kind of interesting. Like, do we long here, stop here? Just target the midpoint. No, it doesn't feel like it's edge full enough. Well, that would have worked. Would have worked literally the next candle. Maybe I should have done it. Kind of losing confidence. Don't want to have another stop out, you know. But this feels reasonable. Strong move higher. It's at the range low. It's beneath these lows. I think it's fair to target the highs. Nope. Is it just gonna happen again? Nope. Again, like higher, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high. Yeah, maybe you don't want to be shorting against that. Maybe not, maybe not. No, we actually did make higher low. Or a higher high. I'm sensing some issues. I'm sensing some difficulties. I'm sensing that probably after taking 2 stop outs for a day, I should probably also quit. But you know, yeah, I think that's reasonable. Okay, at some point, I probably should realize that, like, hey, maybe we could sell as well. Like, that's also like a thing that you can do. Oh well. We did take out the swing low now. We did take out the swing low. But I mean, it's not like we're even making back that much, you know. But we did take out the swing low. We do hit there. But even then, like, what is this? Like, yeah. Not a particularly good week, no. We had an inside day on the hourly, or inside bar on the hourly. We go above. We go way above. Lower, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. It's kind of a shit risk reward, isn't it? It actually kind of is. Let's see, 11. What was the 11 high? Well, it was quite a bit higher, but I think it's probably reasonable. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really know why I did that, to be honest. It's also pretty near the open. Hmm. It's kind of like, I'm not entirely sure what to do about this, but it kind of feels like I stop. It's like I'm supposed to have certain processes, right? I'm supposed to think about, like, okay, what is the current range? What is the structure in the market, right? I'm supposed to do these things. But then at some point it kind of just like devolves into just clicking buttons randomly. I don't know. See, it's like it's fine if you're like playing League of Legends or something, because then you just lose elo, but you can't really afford to have that happen to you here, because it's like you just lose a lot of money if you do that. And I kind of always have the same issue. I don't really know how to like look in. I mean, one thing's for sure, it definitely leads to me taking more trades than I should, right? Like, we know that for a fact. Like that's the effect of me getting tilted, is that I trade too much. And then on occasion I even skip trades that I should take, so it's kind of like the worst of both worlds, really. Here's the range. You did have a deviation, you could have gone along there, but yeah. It's also overnight. What if I don't? What if we don't trade overnight now on Thursday? Let's just not trade overnight on Thursday, and let's see if we can get something going. Let's just treat the open like it's just fresh, completely fresh. Let's just see what it's like then. Okay, big move overnight. Okay, now we're nearing the open. Let's wipe everything. Let's look on the daily. Okay, we took off previous day's low. That's a relevant level. The overnight low is obvious. Kind of broke structure, but it's still bearish. Like this is not really acceptance of a new high. That's the market open. We don't trade the open. We want to see an aggressive move. We see an aggressive move lower, certainly, but we want to see an aggressive move higher as well. We do see an aggressive move higher. At this point, I'm thinking we probably could get long here and simply target the range midpoint, which is, pretty obvious at this point. I think it might be worth it to have a lower risk reward. Okay, did not get that. Took up the highs. Now it's kind of chopping again. Middle of range, not really interested. It's just grinding lower. What is the next daily target? It's there. I don't really think that there's much you can do. Like I don't think it's really realistic to go for that. Nor would I want to be shorting after we took out the daily swing low. That's a pretty clean long. I think that this is reasonable for a long. Let's see if we can still get an entry or not. Is it gonna do it again? Is it just lower high, lower high, lower high, pop up, come lower? I'm starting to think that my biggest mistake is just longing against an uptrend, right? Or against a downtrend. I'm gonna actually just close this here. But I'm not gonna short it either. Yeah. Now we're at a point where it's like, it's not even really a downtrend. But we don't get a pullback for an entry. Oops. We have another range. It's just kind of shit. We're at the range high, but there's no entry. That's actually reasonable. Very unfortunate. We do still take it out. Okay. Yeah, it's the range play. Seems reasonable enough for me. We could have targeted the midpoint. I was kind of scared to target past this, but I was thinking like if you look at range like this, then especially if you look at it like this, it's yeah. those are the stops. Those are the stops. But it's fine. Don't really want to trade this. Don't really want to long that. Oh, would have worked. I guess it is a strong move away, but it's just like, it feels like the range is just getting more and more compressed. It's still clean. Maybe you should still take it. Even if it's clean but compressed. I am wondering about whether this could be a potential long. Just because the move was so strong. Price also spent a long time there, maybe it's not so good. It's right into the close as well, so yeah. Okay. That was pretty much a break even. And this one actually worked, so hey, that was a winning day. And I didn't trade pre-market, so maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's something to it. I definitely think that there's like no trade to be taken here. It's just such a V reversal, and yeah. I guess I don't hate this either, but just come on, you gotta read the room. At some point, you gotta read the room, you know? I feel like that's kind of what I was failing to do here. It's like, bro, if you keep getting stopped out on your longs, maybe you shouldn't long. Then, you know, I do wonder on this. This was the daily swing low, which we took out here. We even close it as a bullish SFP. I kind of wonder, like, why don't we target a little bit higher? Why don't we target here? Like, it's a bullish SFP of the swing low. I feel like I probably could have. I feel like I probably could have targeted. I don't remember what was my exact entry. Oh, I just market entered. No, I didn't. I just entered really high, but that's fine. Yeah, like it was, 1.4, but I feel like we could have done that. I think we could have done that, to be totally honest. I think we could have, because it's a bullish SFP on the hourly of this swing low. Like it's probably gonna go to at least the candle's high, right? Come on. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. One more day. One more day. Let's try not to get tilted this time. I do think that part of me, uh, like trades worse because it's replay, it's bar replay, and so the time like it goes by way faster, right? So you don't really have time to like really think about what's going on. So it kind of does feel like it encourages like this sort of clicking buttons type vibe. But that's also just a personal issue. Like I just need to breathe. I'm just not gonna trade. I'm not gonna trade in in pre-market or in extended hours because I just want to see if I can do a good job on Friday. It's kind of interesting. This is, a range, and this is a deviation of the high. But it's also like low, higher, low, higher, low. But I think I'm not gonna take it because I said I wouldn't. But I think it's reasonable. Nope, did not hit. I would have moved my stop to this level anyways, but yeah, it is what it is. You could definitely argue that this should be the actual target now. Like this swing low, which it did hit, but that's fine. It's fine, it's fine. Okay, we're making higher lows. I wonder how much I'm down, and I wonder how low my win rate is. I know I'm down, and I know my win rate is low, but I wonder how much. I'm curious to see. Okay, let's do the daily check again. We closed lower. Now in post market, we've already traded quite a bit higher into this low. We did SFP this low in post. Yeah, there's some highs here to target. There's some resistance here. We can map this out if we want. And you know, there's decent support here as well, which is also at the daily level of this swing. That's kind of a good support. I think maybe buying that would be a good plan for the day. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, there was also 10 a.m. news, like most days. I kinda completely forgot about that. I'm pretty sure there was 10 a.m. news. Yeah, Friday as well. Market opens. We obviously want to wait for an aggressive move before we trade. We do get an aggressive move higher, but I mean, I don't think there's a setup. It's kind of like when you have this aggressive like higher low, higher low, higher low post market, I do wonder if you can like anticipate that it's gonna do something like this during the market hours, but I don't know. I wouldn't trade this. Now we're in resistance. Let's see what happens. We do go lower, but again, like, look, higher low, higher low, higher low. This is not a break of structure. This is not a break of structure. Do not fool yourself. Now it's a break of structure. Now it's looking decent. But I still don't want to really short it. This is like, it's not really either one. It's not good enough to long. It's also not a good short. It's just kind of nothing is happening. Would you want to short this retest? Meh. I'll pass. This feels like it could be a reasonable short. Let's see, where do we enter? Where do we enter? Let's enter here. Let's put our TP here. Let's put our... Can we go for the low? Maybe not, but I think we can go for those lows. I think that's fine. Kind of the lower end of this, you know? This distribution. And that's not so good. Memed on. Yeah. Perhaps not the wisest idea. There wasn't really a good long entry either, to be honest. It's kind of ass all over the place, regardless of which one you're going for. This is a decent long entry though, I think. I think we can target this swing high. It did work. I suppose you make more money when you go with the trend, huh? Who would have thought? I wonder if I made money. I don't know if I did. That's a 39 tick stop. That's up. I guess I technically made money. Not really interested in trading this. Well, I guess I could have. I don't really know why I wasn't interested in longing this. Like I guess it just wasn't so clean. Still worked, by the way, but eh. Let's see again. I mean, you could definitely argue like you should just hold for way higher prices. You could definitely argue that. Like you could argue that when I longed here, I should just hold for like, previous day's high or like even higher. Wait, take profit cancel. Oh no. You could definitely argue that I should just hold for much higher, but it's fine. Meme dawn. I think it's a reasonable long again. Maybe this is a read the room type situation, but let's see. Uptrend gonna uptrend. That's not so clean, but still uptrend. And rip. Well, maybe not so bad. That's kind of a clean long. I feel like you could probably add on here, right? I mean, I'm not gonna do it because I don't really know how to do that. Like, I don't really have a plan for that, but I probably could. Man, we really don't want to take out this swing high, do we? What is this? And we do eventually take it out. Yeah, could have added on there, that's reasonable. Could also just, add it on at a slightly better level, and you would get a much better risk reward, obviously. Okay, that's it. We at least made money on Friday, that's good. I think we made money both days when we didn't trade pre-market. And then this was like, Wednesday was like a horrible day. And I also took multiple trades in pre-market. This was just a straight up mistake. This was good, but it just didn't work. This was probably pretty bad. Yeah, it's like at the range low, like, come on. And then this was also just terrible. This was literally just randomly clicking buttons. Yeah, so I mean, 4 stopouts in pre-market led to pretty horrible trading during the actual trading hours. That's not a big surprise. And no trading in pre-market led to pretty good performance, actually, all things considered. This was a mistake for sure. I just didn't read the room. Like, look at this. Come on. I think this was a very trendy week, very, very, very trendy week. Very high Friday, very low pretty much every other day. Usually I tend to have much more of a mean reversion type approach in my trading. And so I think that that's the reason why I got fucked this week, is because I wanted to fade everything. And that did not work. That did not work. So yeah. Let's see the results. I'm down, for sure. Wait, I'm up. Hold on. What? Wait. I'm up. With a with a 33% win rate. I'm up. What? Okay. So I've never looked at this before. Let's see. Mm, okay, this is way too much. Initial capital 1 million. That doesn't matter, obviously. What's the tick P&L? What's the tick P&L? So this is, if you divide by 12.5, you get the tick P&L. 37 ticks is not very much. But somehow we made money. I mean, okay, the max drawdown was obviously horrible. But I have no idea what I'm looking at here. Trades analysis, whatever. Okay, so we have a big, massively losing win rate, obviously. I really don't care about like the finance shit, like a return on capital and you know all of this shit. Like I do not care. What I care much more about is what I care much more about is okay, I don't feel like I get anything out of looking at this, to be honest. I feel like what I need to do. Hold on, can I? Wait a minute. Is it possible to get this in edgelong?